Everyone loves saving money and finding ways to cut costs on everyday expenses and purchases. But these penny pinchers took frugality way too far, and their attempts to save a few dollars backfired in the most expensive ways possible. 1. A man refused to pay for professional movers and tried to move his grand piano himself to save $400. He recruited 3 friends who had no piano moving experience whatsoever. They attempted to carry the 800-pound instrument down a flight of stairs. About halfway down, one friend lost his grip on the piano. The entire piano tumbled down the stairs, destroying itself completely. The piano crashed through the stairwell wall, causing significant structural damage. It also destroyed the hardwood floor at the bottom. One friend broke his arm trying to stop the falling piano. Another friend suffered a back injury that required surgery. The piano was a family heirloom worth over $15,000. The structural repairs to the house cost $8,000. Medical bills for his injured friends exceeded $30,000. His homeowner's insurance didn't cover the damage because it was caused by negligence. He also faced lawsuits from his injured friends for their medical expenses. The total cost of his money-saving move exceeded $50,000. His attempt to save $400 cost him more than 100 times that amount. The destroyed piano had been in his family for 3 generations. His relatives were furious he'd destroyed an irreplaceable heirloom. Professional movers would have insured the piano during the move. His friendship with the injured friends never recovered. The cheap decision haunted him financially for years. He became a cautionary tale about false economy in his community. 2. A woman decided to cut her own hair to save $30 on a salon visit and ended up destroying her appearance. She watched a few YouTube tutorials and thought it looked easy enough. She started cutting and immediately made uneven layers. Trying to fix it, she kept cutting more and more hair. Within 20 minutes, her hair was a disaster of different lengths. One side was 3 inches shorter than the other side. She'd accidentally given herself bald patches trying to even things out. In a panic, she went to an emergency salon appointment. The stylist said the only option was to cut it extremely short. She ended up with a pixie cut she absolutely hated. The emergency salon visit cost $150 instead of the usual $30. She then spent $300 on clip-in hair extensions to hide the disaster. She needed professional color correction because she'd also botched her roots. The color correction cost another $200. She bought expensive hair growth supplements trying to speed up regrowth. Over the next year, she spent over $1,500 fixing her hair mistake. She had to avoid social events for months because of embarrassment. Professional photos for her job had to be postponed. Her confidence was destroyed by her terrible haircut. Friends and family gently suggested she never cut her own hair again. The $30 savings cost her over 50 times that amount. She learned that some things are worth paying professionals to do. Her hair took 2 years to fully recover. The trauma of the experience made her anxious about any haircuts. 3. A man tried to fix his car's check engine light himself to avoid a $100 diagnostic fee at the mechanic. He watched some videos online and bought a cheap diagnostic scanner. The scanner gave him an error code he didn't fully understand. He decided to just replace the part the internet suggested. He ordered a cheap replacement part from an unknown seller. When he installed it, something went very wrong with the engine. Black smoke started pouring from under the hood. His car completely broke down on the side of the highway. The tow truck cost him $200 to get to a real mechanic. The mechanic discovered he'd installed a completely wrong part. The wrong part had damaged several other engine components. His attempt to fix it himself caused $3,500 in additional damage. The original problem would have been a $200 repair with the diagnostic. Instead, his total bill was now almost $4,000. His car was out of commission for 2 weeks during repairs. He had to rent a car, which cost another $600. His insurance didn't cover the damage because it was self-inflicted. The mechanic showed him exactly how the wrong part had cascaded into bigger problems. He'd essentially destroyed his engine trying to save $100. His attempt at DIY car repair became his most expensive mistake. He became terrified of touching anything mechanical on his car. His friends mocked him for years about his failed money-saving attempt. The mechanic used his case as an example of what not to do. 4. A homeowner decided to do his own electrical work to save $300 on an electrician's fee. He turned off what he thought was the right breaker. He started rewiring an outlet following a vague online guide. Suddenly, he was thrown backward by a massive electrical shock. He'd been working on a live wire the entire time. The shock burned his hands and sent him to the emergency room. He suffered second-degree burns that required treatment. The ER visit and treatment cost $5,000 without insurance covering it. While he was being shocked, he'd caused a short circuit in the house. The electrical fire started inside the walls. By the time firefighters arrived, significant fire damage had occurred. The fire damage repairs cost over $40,000. His homeowner's insurance investigated and found unpermitted electrical work. They denied his entire claim because of the illegal DIY work. He had to pay for all repairs out of pocket. The house was unlivable for 3 months during reconstruction. His family had to stay in a hotel costing thousands more. The electrical work he'd attempted was actually against building codes. He faced fines from the city for unpermitted work. His hands had permanent scarring from the electrical burns. His attempt to save $300 cost him over $50,000 total. He learned that electrical work requires licenses for good reason. His family never let him forget the disaster. Professional electricians would have completed the job safely in an hour. 5. A woman bought expired food from a discount grocery outlet to save money on her weekly shopping. The food was marked down 70% because it was past its sell-by date. She figured the dates were just suggestions. She fed the expired meat to her family for dinner. By midnight, everyone in the house had severe food poisoning. Her 2 children were vomiting uncontrollably. Her husband had such bad symptoms he became dehydrated. All 4 family members ended up in the emergency room. They were treated for salmonella poisoning from the expired meat. The ER bills for the entire family exceeded $12,000. Her children missed a week of school recovering. She and her husband both missed work and lost wages. Her employer wasn't sympathetic about food poisoning from intentionally eating expired food. The total cost, including lost wages, exceeded $15,000. The money she'd saved on groceries was about $40. She'd spent over 350 times her savings on the consequences. Child Protective Services were called because she'd knowingly fed expired food to children. She had to attend parenting classes as part of the investigation. Her family's trust in her food choices was destroyed. Her husband insisted on checking every expiration date after that. The guilt of making her children seriously ill haunted her. She became obsessive about food safety going forward. Her attempt at extreme couponing had nearly killed her family. The $40 discount became the most expensive groceries she'd ever bought. 6. A man refused to pay for pest control and tried to handle a wasp nest himself to save $150. He bought a cheap can of wasp spray from the dollar store. He approached the massive nest in his attic without proper protection. The moment he sprayed, hundreds of wasps attacked him. He was stung over 60 times trying to escape the attic. He fell down the attic ladder trying to get away from the swarm. The fall broke his ankle in 2 places. An ambulance had to be called for his injuries. He was rushed to the hospital for both the stings and the broken ankle. He had an allergic reaction to the massive number of wasp stings. They had to keep him overnight for observation. The medical bills totaled over $8,000. His broken ankle required surgery and physical therapy. The wasp nest was now even more aggressive and dangerous. Professional pest control had to be called in emergency mode. Emergency wasp removal cost $500 instead of the normal $150. His attic was damaged by the panicked wasps and needed repairs. He was on crutches for 2 months and couldn't work. His lost wages added another $6,000 to the cost. His attempt to save $150 cost him over $15,000. His ankle never fully healed and caused him pain for years. His family wouldn't let him attempt any more DIY pest control. The wasp attack became a story his friends told at parties. He developed a phobia of wasps after the incident. Professional pest control would have eliminated the nest safely in an hour. 7. A college student tried to save money on textbooks by photocopying an entire 800-page book at the library. The library charged 10 cents per page for copying. He didn't do the math before starting the copying process. After copying 400 pages, he realized this was going to cost $80. The actual textbook was on sale for $85 used. He'd already invested $40 in copying, so he felt committed. He continued copying all 800 pages. The total copying cost was $80 for a loose pile of pages. He then had to buy a binder and page protectors. The binding supplies cost another $25. His total cost was now $105 for an inferior version. The loose pages constantly fell out of the binder. Important diagrams didn't copy well and were illegible. He failed an exam partly because he couldn't read his copied diagrams. His grades suffered and he lost his scholarship. Losing the scholarship cost him $5,000 for the next semester. He had to take out student loans to cover the lost scholarship. The loans included interest he'd be paying for years. His attempt to save $5 on a textbook cost him thousands. The bound photocopy fell apart halfway through the semester anyway. He had to buy the actual textbook for $90 used. His total cost for one textbook exceeded $200. The time spent copying could have been used working and earning money. His friends mocked his giant pile of loose photocopied pages. He learned that being cheap on educational materials backfires academically. The photocopy disaster became legendary in his friend group. 8. A homeowner tried to save money by doing his own roof repair with discount materials. He bought the cheapest shingles he could find online. The shingles were inferior quality and not rated for his climate. He also skipped buying proper underlayment to save more money. His DIY roof job looked okay from the ground. The first major rainstorm revealed the disaster. Water poured into his attic from multiple leak points. The leaks damaged his ceiling, insulation, and walls. Mold started growing within days of the water damage. Professional roofers inspected and said the entire job had to be redone. The cheap shingles were already curling and failing after 1 month. His DIY work had actually damaged the roof deck underneath. The repair now required replacing damaged structural wood. The total professional repair cost $18,000. The original professional roofing quote had been $8,000. His money-saving attempt doubled the final cost. The mold remediation added another $5,000 to his expenses. His homeowner's insurance denied the claim due to improper installation. He had to take out a home equity loan to pay for repairs. The loan payments burdened his budget for years. His house smelled like mold for months during remediation. His attempt to save $3,000 cost him over $20,000. He learned that roofing is not a DIY project. Professional roofers have warranties and insurance for good reason. His neighbors watched the entire debacle with secondhand embarrassment. 9. A woman decided to groom her own dog to save the $60 grooming fee. She bought cheap clippers from a discount store for $20. She'd never groomed a dog before, but figured how hard could it be. She started shaving her fluffy dog's coat. The cheap clippers pulled and caught the dog's fur painfully. Her dog yelped and squirmed, trying to escape. She accidentally nicked the dog's skin in multiple places. The cuts weren't deep, but the dog was bleeding. In her panic, she kept making the haircut worse. Her dog ended up with a completely uneven, patchy haircut. Bald spots alternated with long tufts of fur. Her dog looked absolutely ridiculous. She had to take the dog to a professional groomer for an emergency fix. The emergency grooming cost $120 instead of the usual $60. The groomer had to shave the dog almost completely to even it out. Her dog was humiliated and cold without its proper coat. She had to buy a dog sweater because of the bad haircut. The vet visit to treat the nicks cost $200. Her dog developed anxiety about grooming after the traumatic experience. Professional behaviorist consultations cost another $300. Her $60 savings attempt cost her over $600. Her dog's trust in her was damaged. Photos of her dog's terrible haircut went viral when friends shared them. She became known as the woman who butchered her dog's haircut. Her dog hid from her whenever it saw clippers. Professional groomers trained for years for good reason. Her attempt at pet grooming was a complete disaster. 10. A man tried to save money on a plumber by snaking his own drain with a wire hanger. The bathroom sink was draining slowly and he didn't want to pay $150 for a plumber. He straightened a wire coat hanger and pushed it down the drain. He felt some resistance and pushed harder. Suddenly, water started spraying everywhere from under the sink. He'd punctured the P-trap with the wire hanger. Water was flooding his bathroom floor. He didn't know where the water shutoff valve was. By the time he found it, several inches of water covered the bathroom. The water leaked through the floor to the ceiling below. His downstairs neighbor's apartment had water damage. He had to call an emergency plumber immediately. The emergency plumber charged $400 for after-hours service. The P-trap replacement cost another $200. The water damage to his floor required professional drying services. That cost $800 to prevent mold growth. His downstairs neighbor sued him for their damaged ceiling and belongings. That settlement cost him $3,000. His landlord charged him for the building's repairs. His total cost exceeded $5,000 for attempting to save $150. He was nearly evicted over the flooding incident. His relationship with his neighbor was permanently damaged. The wire hanger method he'd learned from TV didn't work in real life. Professional plumbers have the right tools and knowledge. His cheap fix became his most expensive home repair ever. He learned to call professionals for plumbing issues after that. The flooding incident became neighborhood gossip for months. 11. A family decided to skip travel insurance to save $80 on their $3,000 vacation package. They figured nothing bad would happen on their trip. 3 days before departure, their father had a medical emergency. He needed emergency surgery and couldn't travel. They tried to cancel the vacation, but everything was non-refundable. The airline tickets were completely lost at $1,200. The hotel reservation couldn't be canceled, and they lost $400. The rental car reservation had a cancellation fee of $200. They lost the entire $3,000 vacation investment. The $80 travel insurance would have covered all cancellations for medical reasons. Their attempt to save $80 cost them $3,000. They couldn't afford to rebook the vacation that year. The children were devastated about missing their planned trip. The family's savings account was wiped out by the loss. They had to cancel other planned expenses to recover financially. The father felt guilty even though the medical emergency wasn't his fault. Friends who'd bought travel insurance for their trips thought they were foolish. The family learned about travel insurance the most expensive way possible. Every vacation after that, they bought insurance first thing. The $80 savings was the costliest decision of their vacation planning. They calculated they'd lost 37.5 times what they'd tried to save. The missed vacation became a sore subject in family conversations. Financial advisors used their story as an example of false economy. Their expensive lesson was shared on travel forums as a warning. 12. A man bought the cheapest possible tires for his car to save $200 on name brand tires. The discount tires were from an unknown brand with no reviews. Within 3 months, one tire blew out while he was driving on the highway. The blowout caused him to lose control of the car temporarily. He crashed into the guardrail, damaging the entire passenger side. Thankfully, he wasn't seriously injured, just shaken up. His car sustained over $6,000 in body damage. His insurance deductible was $1,000. His insurance rates increased after the at-fault accident. The rate increase cost him an extra $800 per year. The other 3 cheap tires had to be replaced immediately. He bought quality tires this time at $600 for all 4. The total cost of his cheap tire decision exceeded $8,000. The name brand tires he'd skipped would have cost $600 originally. His $200 savings cost him 40 times that amount. His car was in the shop for 2 weeks. He had to rent a car during repairs at $400. His attempt at saving on tires nearly cost him his life. The mechanic showed him how the cheap tires construction was substandard. Tire safety experts recommend never buying unknown budget tire brands. His harrowing experience convinced friends to invest in quality tires. The accident was entirely preventable with better tires. His cheap purchase almost turned into a fatal mistake. 13. A woman decided to dye her own hair at home to save the $150 salon cost. She bought a box of hair dye from the drugstore for $8. The color on the box looked like what she wanted. She didn't do a strand test like the instructions recommended. She applied the dye to her entire head. When she rinsed it out, her hair was bright orange. It looked nothing like the box color. She panicked and bought another box to fix it. The second box made it worse, turning parts of her hair green. Now she definitely needed professional help. She went to a salon for emergency color correction. The stylist had to do multiple processes to fix the disaster. The color correction took 6 hours and cost $600. Her hair was damaged from the multiple chemical processes. She needed expensive deep conditioning treatments. The treatments cost another $200 over several months. Her hair felt like straw and kept breaking off. She had to cut 6 inches off due to the damage. Her total cost was over $800 to fix the $8 box dye disaster. The original $150 salon color would have been done perfectly. Her attempt to save money cost her more than 5 times the professional rate. Her hair took a year to fully recover its health. She became anxious about her appearance during the recovery period. Friends gently suggested she never box dye her hair again. The orange-green phase was captured in photos she desperately wanted deleted. Her cheap hair dye experiment was an expensive failure. 14. A man tried to save money by reusing old motor oil instead of buying new oil for his oil change. He'd drained the oil from his car and figured he could just filter it and reuse it. He poured the old, dirty oil through a coffee filter, thinking that would clean it. He put the filtered oil back into his engine. The oil was still full of contaminants and metal particles. Within a week, his engine started making terrible grinding noises. The contaminated oil had failed to lubricate the engine properly. His engine seized up completely while he was driving. The car had to be towed to a mechanic. The mechanic said the engine was completely destroyed. A new engine cost $4,500 to install. The old oil had caused catastrophic engine failure. Fresh motor oil costs about $30 for a complete oil change. His attempt to save $30 destroyed his $4,500 engine. The car was barely worth $5,000 before the engine died. He ended up having to sell the car for parts for $800. He lost thousands on a car that would have been fine with proper maintenance. His cheap oil decision cost him his entire vehicle. Mechanics use his story as a cautionary tale about proper maintenance. Reusing motor oil is never recommended by any expert. His false economy destroyed something that should have lasted years. The $30 he didn't spend cost him his entire car. His transportation options were severely limited after losing the vehicle. 15. A homeowner decided to clean his own chimney to save the $200 professional chimney sweep fee. He bought a cheap brush kit online for $40. He climbed onto his roof without proper safety equipment. While brushing the chimney, he lost his balance. He fell off the roof and broke both his wrists. An ambulance took him to the hospital. His medical bills exceeded $15,000 for the broken wrists and treatment. He needed surgery on one wrist. Physical therapy cost another $3,000 over several months. He couldn't work for 3 months due to his injuries. His lost wages totaled over $18,000. His chimney still wasn't properly cleaned. He had to hire a professional sweep anyway. The chimney cleaning ended up costing $200 as it would have originally. His total cost for the DIY chimney cleaning was over $36,000. His attempt to save $200 cost him 180 times that amount. His wrists never fully recovered their previous strength. He couldn't do many activities he'd enjoyed before. His family was burdened financially during his recovery. Professional chimney sweeps have insurance and safety equipment. His tragic fall could have been prevented entirely. The hospital bills strained his finances for years. His attempt at frugality resulted in life-changing injuries. Neighbors witnessed the fall and were traumatized. His story became a local cautionary tale about DIY safety. 16. A woman bought a suspiciously cheap designer purse online to save money on the real version. The listing claimed it was authentic but dramatically discounted. She paid $300 for what should have been a $2,000 purse. When it arrived, the quality seemed slightly off, but she convinced herself it was real. She proudly carried it to work and social events. A friend who worked in fashion examined it closely. The friend gently informed her it was an obvious counterfeit. She was mortified that she'd been carrying a fake. She did more research and discovered the seller had scammed hundreds of people. Her credit card company said too much time had passed for a chargeback. She was stuck with a worthless fake purse. She'd essentially donated $300 to scammers. The fake purse was so poor quality it fell apart within a month. She was too embarrassed to carry it anymore anyway. She ended up buying a real designer purse from an authorized dealer. That cost her $2,000 as she should have paid originally. Her total cost was $2,300 for one purse. Her attempt to save money added $300 to her final cost. She learned that luxury goods deals that seem too good to be true usually are. Her friends knew she'd carried a fake for weeks. The embarrassment was worse than the financial loss. Authentication services exist specifically to prevent these scams. Her cheap purse chase cost her money and dignity. 17. A man decided to represent himself in small claims court to save on attorney fees. His case was worth $3,000 and a lawyer would have cost $500. He thought he could present his own case effectively. He didn't understand court procedures or evidence rules. He failed to file proper documentation before the deadline. The judge dismissed his case on a technicality. He lost his $3,000 claim entirely because of procedural errors. An attorney would have known to file the correct paperwork. He tried to appeal, but the appeals court upheld the dismissal. His attempt to save $500 cost him $3,000. He was out the money he'd been owed plus filing fees. His time spent on the failed case was substantial. He'd taken multiple days off work for court appearances. His lost wages added another $600 to his losses. A lawyer could have won his case easily with proper procedure. His total loss exceeded $3,600 by representing himself. His savings of $500 cost him over 7 times that amount. He learned that legal representation exists for important reasons. Friends who'd used lawyers for similar cases won their claims. His stubborn insistence on self-representation cost him everything. The court system is complex and designed for legal professionals. His case became an example of false economy in legal matters. He never recovered the money he was legitimately owed. His cheap decision had expensive permanent consequences. 18. A family decided to skimp on a hotel and stay in the cheapest possible accommodation to save $100 per night. They booked a room for $40 per night instead of the $140 hotel they'd originally considered. The cheap hotel was in a dangerous neighborhood. Their car was broken into the first night. Thieves stole over $2,000 worth of belongings from the vehicle. The car window repair cost $400. The hotel had bed bugs that came home with them in their luggage. Exterminating the bed bugs from their home cost $1,500. They had to throw away contaminated furniture worth $3,000. Their daughter developed a skin rash from the bedbug bites. The dermatologist visits and treatments cost $500. The entire family was traumatized by the experience. Their vacation was ruined by the terrible accommodation. The $300 they'd saved on 3 nights became a $7,400 disaster. The nicer hotel would have been safe, clean, and bedbug-free. Their attempt to save money cost them 25 times what they'd saved. The bedbug infestation took months to fully resolve. Their home felt contaminated even after professional treatment. Family members had anxiety about hotels for years afterward. Online reviews had warned about the cheap hotels' problems. They'd ignored warnings because the price was so attractive. Their vacation from hell was entirely preventable. The cheap hotel ended up being the most expensive accommodation they'd ever had. 19. A man bought a used laptop from a stranger online to save money instead of buying new. The laptop was listed for $200 when comparable new ones cost $600. The seller seemed legitimate and the photos looked good. He met the seller in a parking lot for the exchange. The laptop worked fine for exactly 1 week. Then it completely died and wouldn't turn on. He took it to a repair shop for diagnosis. The technician discovered the laptop had liquid damage that had been temporarily concealed. The motherboard was corroded and beyond repair. The laptop was worthless and couldn't be fixed. He was out the $200 with no recourse. The seller had blocked his number and disappeared. He still needed a laptop and had to buy a new one. The new laptop cost $600 as he should have paid originally. His total cost was $800 for one laptop. His attempt to save $400 cost him an extra $200. He learned that electronics from strangers are risky purchases. Authorized retailers have warranties and return policies for good reasons. His friends had warned him about buying electronics from random people. He'd ignored their advice because of the attractive price. The cheap laptop scam cost him more than buying retail. His $200 went straight to a scammer. He learned an expensive lesson about too good to be true deals. Consumer protection doesn't apply to parking lot transactions. 20. A woman decided to do her own dental work using online DIY kits to save on dentist costs. She had a small cavity that needed filling. A dentist would have charged $200 for a professional filling. She bought a DIY dental filling kit online for $25. She attempted to fill her own cavity using bathroom mirror and the kit. She couldn't properly see what she was doing. She accidentally drilled too deep and hit the nerve. The pain was excruciating and immediate. She ended up in the emergency dentist's office. The emergency visit cost $400. The dentist had to do a root canal because of the nerve damage. The root canal cost $200. She then needed a crown on the tooth at $1,000. Her DIY dental work turned a $200 filling into $2,600 in dental work. Her attempt to save $175 cost her 15 times that amount. She was in significant pain for weeks during treatment. The tooth was permanently damaged by her DIY attempt. Dental professionals trained for years to do fillings properly. Her friends were horrified she'd attempted dentistry on herself. The infection risk from her unsanitary DIY work was significant. She developed dental anxiety from the traumatic experience. Dentists use her case as an example of DIY dental disasters. Her tooth never felt quite right again after all the work. The $25 kit cost over $2,000 in damage. Her mouth was a permanent reminder of her cheap decision. 21. A man decided to save money by mixing his own windshield washer fluid instead of buying it pre-made. He found a recipe online using dish soap and water. He mixed up a large batch and filled his windshield fluid reservoir. The first time he used it, the fluid froze on his windshield. He was driving on the highway when this happened. His visibility went to zero immediately. He couldn't see anything and had to pull over dangerously. Other cars nearly hit him during his blind pullover. The DIY fluid had frozen because it lacked antifreeze properties. His windshield had a thick layer of ice from the frozen soap mixture. He had to call for roadside assistance. The tow cost $150 to get him to safety. His windshield fluid system was now clogged with frozen soap. The repair shop had to flush the entire system. The repair cost $200 to fix the damage. Commercial windshield fluid costs $3 per gallon. His DIY mixture had saved him maybe $2. His money-saving attempt cost him $350. He'd nearly caused a highway accident from his DIY fluid. The incident could have killed him or others. Professional windshield fluid is formulated for all weather conditions. His homemade mixture lacked crucial antifreeze components. The recipe he'd found online was for summer use only. He'd missed that crucial detail in his desire to save money. His $2 savings almost cost him his life. The terrifying experience made him shake for hours. He never attempted to DIY car fluids again. 22. A family decided to save money by bringing their own food into a theme park instead of buying there. Outside food was explicitly prohibited by the park rules. They stuffed their bags with sandwiches and snacks. Security found the food during the bag check at entrance. The family was denied entry for violating park policy. They'd already paid $400 for 4 non-refundable tickets. The tickets were completely lost because of the food. They had to buy new tickets for the next day at $400 more. They also had to buy food inside the park anyway. Park food for the family cost $150 for the day. Their attempt to save maybe $100 on food cost them $800. The park would have let them leave food in their car. They'd been too stubborn and lost their entire ticket cost. The children were devastated when turned away at the gate. The family's entire day was ruined over sandwiches. Other families in line watched their embarrassing rejection. They'd been warned multiple times about the no outside food policy. Their stubborn money-saving attempt backfired completely. The $100 they'd hoped to save cost them 8 times that. The wasted tickets represented 2 days of work. Their vacation budget was destroyed by one cheap decision. Friends thought they were ridiculous for risking tickets over food. The family never lived down the theme park rejection. Their expensive lesson was about following rules. 23. A man bought the cheapest possible paint for his house to save money on a painting project. Professional painters quoted $3,000 for the job with quality paint. He decided to do it himself with discount paint to save money. He bought paint from a liquidation store for 75% off. The paint was discontinued because of quality issues. He didn't research why it was so heavily discounted. He spent a week painting his entire house exterior. The paint looked fine when he finished. Within 2 months, the paint started peeling and fading. By 6 months, his house looked worse than before painting. The cheap paint hadn't been weather resistant. He had to have the entire house repainted professionally. The painters had to remove all the bad paint first. That added $1,500 to the normal painting cost. The professional paint job cost $4,500 total. His cheap paint had cost $200 for supplies. His total expenditure was $4,700 for painting. The original professional quote had been $3,000. His money-saving attempt cost an extra $1,700. His house looked terrible for months between paintings. Neighbors commented on the peeling paint disaster. His home's value decreased due to the poor appearance. The time he'd spent painting was completely wasted. Quality paint lasts for years while cheap paint fails quickly. His false economy was visible to everyone who passed his house. The professional painters had warned him about cheap paint. He'd ignored their advice and paid dearly for it. 24. A woman decided to save money by buying knockoff phone chargers instead of the official brand. The official chargers cost $30 while knockoffs were $5. She bought 3 knockoff chargers to have extras. The first charger she used sparked while charging her phone. The spark damaged her phone's charging port. Her phone would no longer charge with any charger. She had to buy a new phone for $800. The phone was only a year old and would have lasted years longer. Her $25 savings on chargers cost her $800 in phone replacement. The knockoff chargers were known fire hazards. One review had mentioned a house fire from the same charger brand. She'd ignored reviews because of the attractive price. Electronics experts always recommend official chargers for safety. The cheaper chargers lack proper voltage regulation. Her phone's warranty was voided by using unauthorized accessories. She couldn't even get the phone repaired under warranty. The damaged phone sat in a drawer as an expensive reminder. Her attempt to save $75 on chargers cost her hundreds. Official chargers are expensive because they're properly engineered. The knockoff savings evaporated with her fried phone. She learned that phone accessories aren't a place to cut corners. Her friends all bought official chargers after hearing her story. The $5 chargers were the most expensive phone accessories she'd ever bought. Her cheap purchase destroyed an expensive device. 25. A man decided to save money by doing his own brake job on his car. A mechanic quoted $400 for new brake pads and rotors. He bought discount brake parts online for $80. He watched a video tutorial on brake replacement. He attempted to install the brakes himself. He didn't properly torque the bolts during installation. His first drive after the brake job seemed fine initially. A week later, while driving, one wheel's brake assembly fell apart. The wheel locked up and he lost control of the car. He crashed into a parked car at low speed. Both vehicles sustained damage totaling $6,000. His insurance deductible was $1,000. The other driver sued him for additional damages. His insurance rates increased dramatically after the at-fault crash. The brake system had to be professionally repaired. That cost $600 because of the damage from his failed attempt. His total cost exceeded $8,000 for the DIY brake job. The $400 professional brake service would have been perfect. His $320 savings attempt cost him 25 times that amount. He could have been seriously injured or killed. Brake work is critical for vehicle safety. His amateur attempt created a dangerous situation. Professional mechanics have training and liability insurance. His cheap brake job nearly turned fatal. He never attempted automotive work again. His crashed car reminded him daily of his false economy. 26. A homeowner hired the cheapest possible contractor for a bathroom renovation to save money. Professional contractors quoted $15,000 for the work. A guy on Craigslist offered to do it for $5,000 cash. The homeowner jumped at the cheap price. The contractor had no license, insurance, or references. He demolished the bathroom and started work. After 2 weeks, the contractor disappeared with $3,000 deposit. The bathroom was left in pieces and unusable. The homeowner had no legal recourse without a contract. He had to hire a licensed contractor to fix the mess. The new contractor found dangerous electrical work. The cheap contractor had created fire hazards in the walls. The repair and completion cost $25,000. The illegal work had damaged plumbing and structure. His attempt to save $10,000 cost him an extra $13,000. His total cost was $28,000 for the renovation. The bathroom was unusable for 4 months. His family had to shower at a gym during that time. The stress nearly destroyed his marriage. His wife had warned him about the too cheap quote. He'd ignored her concerns and paid dearly. Licensed contractors have bonds and insurance for protection. The unlicensed contractor faced no consequences. The homeowner learned an expensive lesson about construction. His cheap contractor choice became his most expensive mistake. Other homeowners used his story as a cautionary tale. 27. A woman decided to save money by grooming her own cat at home. Professional cat grooming cost $80, and her cat needed a lion cut. She bought clippers for $25 and figured she'd do it herself. Cats are notoriously difficult to groom. Her cat panicked the moment she turned on the clippers. The cat scratched her deeply on both arms, trying to escape. She needed emergency room treatment for the deep scratches. Cat scratches can cause serious infections. The ER visit cost $1,200, including antibiotics. She still needed to get the cat professionally groomed. The groomer charged extra because the cat was now terrified. The grooming cost $120 instead of the usual $80. Her arms had permanent scars from the deep scratches. Her attempt to save $80 cost her $300. She learned that professional cat groomers earn their fees. Cats require specific handling techniques during grooming. Her cat developed grooming anxiety from the traumatic experience. The cat now required sedation for grooming appointments. Sedation added $150 to every future grooming session. Her one cheap decision cost her thousands over the cat's lifetime. Professional groomers have tools and techniques for difficult cats. Her DIY cat grooming was a painful, expensive failure. Friends mocked her scarred arms as battle wounds. The cat avoided her for weeks after the incident. Her $25 clipper purchase was the worst investment she'd made. 28. A man tried to save money by using regular gas instead of premium in his luxury car. The car's manual clearly specified premium fuel only. Premium gas was 50 cents more per gallon. He figured regular gas would be fine despite the warning. For months, his car seemed to run okay. Then the engine started knocking and losing power. He took it to the dealer for diagnosis. The engine had carbon buildup from using wrong fuel. The damage required engine cleaning and repairs. The repair cost $4,500 to fix the fuel-related damage. His car's warranty didn't cover damage from wrong fuel use. He'd saved maybe $400 over the months on cheaper gas. His $400 savings cost him $4,500 in repairs. The engine's performance was permanently decreased. His car's resale value dropped significantly. The dealer told him this damage was completely preventable. Premium fuel is required for high compression engines. The octane rating prevents the knocking that damaged his engine. His cheap fuel choice destroyed engine components. He calculated he'd need 30 years of savings to break even. His false economy was an expensive mistake. The car never ran quite as well after the repairs. His manual's warning existed for this exact reason. He learned that some specifications aren't suggestions. His fuel savings became the most expensive gas he'd ever bought. 29. A family decided to save money by taking a discount airline with tons of fees. The base ticket price was $100 cheaper per person than major airlines. For a family of 4, they'd save $400 on tickets. They didn't read the fine print about fees. The airline charged for carry-on bags at $60 each. They charged for seat selection at $30 per seat. Checked bags were $40 each. Printing boarding passes at the airport was $15 each. The fees totaled over $600 for the family. Their cheap tickets ended up costing $200 more than the major airline. The flight was delayed by 6 hours. The airline provided no compensation for the delay. They missed their hotel's check-in cutoff. The hotel charged them for the night anyway at $200. They had to pay for another night at $200. Their discount flight cost them an extra $800 total. The major airline would have included bags and seats. Their $400 savings turned into a $400 loss. The family vacation started in complete frustration. Their children were exhausted from the delay. The stress of the experience affected the entire trip. Budget airlines make money on fees, not tickets. The cheap base price was a misleading advertiser. Their false economy ruined the vacation start. Family members blamed the dad for choosing the cheap airline. He never lived down the expensive discount flight. 30. A man decided to save money by cutting down a dangerous tree himself. Professional tree removal was quoted at $2,500. He rented a chainsaw for $50 and figured he could do it. The tree was massive and leaning toward his house. He started cutting without proper knowledge. The tree fell exactly toward his house as he should have expected. It crashed through his roof, causing massive damage. The tree destroyed 2 bedrooms and the bathroom. His roof needed complete reconstruction. The damage to his house exceeded $45,000. His homeowner's insurance investigated. They denied the claim because of improper tree removal. He had to pay for all repairs out of pocket. His house was unlivable for months during repairs. His family stayed in hotels costing thousands more. The tree removal still needed to be done professionally. That cost $2,000 because of the complicated roof situation. His attempt to save $2,500 cost him over $50,000. Professional tree services have insurance and experience. They would have felled the tree safely away from structures. His DIY tree removal destroyed his home. The rental chainsaw had come with no training or guidance. His neighbors watched in horror as the tree fell on his house. His family was devastated by his cheap decision. The house repairs took 6 months to complete. His attempt at frugality was the costliest home project ever. Tree removal experts exist because trees are unpredictable and dangerous. 31. A woman bought cheap contact lenses online from a foreign website to save money. Prescription contacts from her eye doctor cost $60 per box. The sketchy website sold them for $20 per box. She didn't verify if the lenses were authentic or safe. The lenses arrived without proper packaging or verification. She started wearing them immediately. Within a week, her eyes became painfully irritated. She developed a serious eye infection from the contaminated lenses. The infection required emergency treatment from an ophthalmologist. Her treatment cost $2,000, including medications. The infection scarred her cornea permanently. Her vision was permanently reduced by the damage. She needed specialty lenses afterward, costing $300 per box. Her attempt to save $40 destroyed her eyesight. The cheap lenses were counterfeit and not sterile. Medical-grade contact lenses are regulated for good reason. Her $20 purchase cost her thousands and her vision. The eye infection was excruciatingly painful for weeks. She missed work during the infection and treatment. Her lost wages added another $1,500 to her costs. Her total cost for cheap contacts exceeded $5,000. She learned that vision isn't a place to cut corners. Her friends were horrified by her damaged eyesight. The permanent vision reduction affected her daily life. She needed glasses for activities she'd done with contacts before. Her false economy cost her partial vision permanently. Eye care professionals strongly warn against non-verified contact sources. 32. A man decided to save money by fixing his AC unit himself during summer. A professional HVAC repair was quoted at $300. He bought parts online and attempted the repair. He didn't properly discharge the refrigerant system first. The pressurized refrigerant sprayed in his face. He inhaled toxic refrigerant chemicals. He was rushed to the hospital for chemical inhalation. The hospital stay and treatment cost $8,000. He suffered temporary lung damage from the exposure. His AC unit was now more broken than before. Professional repair of his damage cost $1,200. His house was without AC for 3 weeks in 100-degree heat. His family had to stay in hotels costing $2,000. His total cost for DIY AC repair exceeded $11,000. The $300 professional repair would have been done in an hour. His savings attempt cost him 37 times the professional price. He could have died from refrigerant exposure. HVAC systems contain dangerous pressurized chemicals. Professional technicians have training and safety equipment. His cheap repair attempt nearly killed him. His lungs never fully recovered their previous capacity. The hospital bills strained his finances for years. His family was traumatized by his hospitalization. The AC repair became his most expensive home maintenance ever. HVAC work requires licensing for safety reasons. His false economy almost turned fatal. 33. A woman decided to save money by doing her own gel manicure at home. Professional gel manicures cost $50. She bought a kit online for $35, thinking she'd save money long term. The kit included a UV lamp and gel polishes. She didn't follow the instructions properly. She left her nails under the UV lamp too long. The excessive UV exposure burned her nail beds. Her nails became extremely damaged and painful. She developed a nail infection from the burns. A dermatologist had to treat the infection and damage. The treatment cost $800 over several visits. Her natural nails were destroyed and fell off. She had to wear fake nails for over a year while they grew back. The fake nails cost $60 every 3 weeks. Her total cost exceeded $2,500 for the damaged nails. Professional manicurists know proper UV exposure times. Her $35 kit caused over $1,000 in damage. She could never grow healthy nails again. The permanent damage affected her confidence. Her hands looked terrible during the healing process. Professional nail services include proper safety precautions. Her attempt to save $15 per manicure destroyed her nails. The cheap kit came with inadequate instructions. Her nail damage became a permanent reminder. Friends noticed her nail problems and asked questions. The embarrassment was worse than the financial cost. She learned that nail care isn't a place for extreme savings. 34. A man tried to save money by making his own laundry detergent. Commercial detergent cost $15 per container. He found a recipe online using washing soda and soap. The homemade mixture cost about $5 to make. He used it in his washing machine for a month. His clothes never seemed completely clean. He increased the amount he was using. The excess soap buildup clogged his washing machine. His machine stopped working properly. A repair technician found massive soap residue in the machine. The homemade detergent wasn't designed for modern machines. His washing machine needed a $400 repair. He also had to buy new clothes because his were stained from residue. The clothing replacement cost $600. His attempt to save $10 per month cost him $1,000. Commercial detergents are formulated for modern machines. His recipe had worked in old-fashioned washers only. He'd missed that crucial detail in the recipe. His washing machine was only 3 years old before this. The repair didn't fully fix all the problems. He had to buy a new washing machine at $800. His total cost for homemade detergent exceeded $1,800. The commercial detergent would have cost $180 per year. His savings attempt cost him 10 years of detergent money. His clothes were ruined by the residue buildup. The homemade detergent experiment was a complete failure. Appliance manufacturers recommend specific detergent types for good reason. 35. A family decided to save money by camping instead of staying in hotels during a road trip. Hotels would have cost $150 per night for 3 nights. They'd save $450 by camping at $30 per night. They'd never been camping before. They bought the cheapest camping gear they could find. The first night, it rained heavily. Their cheap tent leaked like a sieve. Everything they'd brought got soaked. Their sleeping bags, clothes, and electronics were ruined. They had to buy replacements costing $800. They also had to book a hotel for the remaining nights anyway. The hotel emergency booking cost $200 per night. Their camping attempt cost them over $400. The original hotel plan would have been $450. Their money-saving camping trip cost 3 times more. The children were miserable and cold from the rain. Nobody slept during the wet camping disaster. Quality camping gear costs significant money for good reason. Their cheap gear failed when they needed it most. The vacation was ruined by the camping catastrophe. Family photos showed wet, miserable people. They never attempted camping again. Friends laughed at their camping failure story. The cheap tent was thrown away after one night. Their false economy turned vacation into survival. The kids begged for hotels on future trips. Their camping savings attempt became family legend as their worst vacation. 36. A woman bought counterfeit makeup products to save money on expensive brands. Real brand name makeup cost $200 for what she wanted. She found knockoffs online for $40. The products looked identical to real versions. She started using the fake makeup daily. Within a week, her face broke out in a severe rash. The counterfeit products contained toxic chemicals. Her skin became painful and inflamed. A dermatologist diagnosed chemical burns from the fake makeup. Treatment required prescription medications and creams. The medical treatment cost $500 over several months. Her skin was permanently scarred from the reaction. The scarring required cosmetic treatment costing $3,000. Her total cost for fake makeup exceeded $4,500. The real makeup would have been completely safe. Counterfeit cosmetics often contain dangerous substances. Her $160 savings cost her over 28 times that amount. Her face was damaged for months during healing. She had to take time off work due to appearance. Her confidence was destroyed by the visible scarring. The fake products were untested and unregulated. Cosmetic companies test for safety and allergies. Her cheap makeup destroyed her skin health. The scars required ongoing treatment for years. Her attempt at beauty savings became a disfiguring disaster. Makeup safety regulations exist for protection. Her counterfeit purchase was her biggest regret. 37. A man decided to save money by replacing his phone screen himself. A professional repair was quoted at $150. He bought a screen replacement kit online for $30. The kit claimed to be easy with video instructions. He started taking apart his phone. The ribbon cable tore while removing the old screen. His phone's display was now permanently dead. He'd also damaged the digitizer during removal. His phone was completely unusable. A professional couldn't even fix it anymore. He had to buy a new phone for $700. His attempt to save $120 cost him $730. The professional repair would have been warrantied. His DIY attempt voided any warranty he had. Phone repairs require specific tools and expertise. His cheap kit came with inadequate tools. The video tutorial skipped crucial details. His phone was only a year old before he destroyed it. The broken phone sat as an expensive reminder. Friends knew not to ask him for phone repair advice. His false economy destroyed a perfectly good device. The $30 kit cost him his entire phone. Professional phone repair exists because it's genuinely difficult. His savings attempt was his most expensive phone-related mistake. The new phone purchase strained his budget for months. His cheap screen repair destroyed an expensive device. 38. A homeowner decided to save money by removing asbestos insulation himself. Professional asbestos removal was quoted at $5,000. He thought he could just bag it up carefully himself. Asbestos requires specialized removal and disposal. He didn't understand the health risks involved. He disturbed the asbestos during removal. Dangerous fibers became airborne throughout his house. His entire family was exposed to asbestos. Health authorities had to be notified. Professional remediation was now required by law. The emergency asbestos cleanup cost $15,000. His family had to vacate the house for weeks. Hotel costs during remediation exceeded $3,000. They all required medical monitoring for asbestos exposure. Health screening cost $2,000 for the family. His total cost exceeded $20,000 for DIY asbestos removal. The professional removal would have been $5,000 safely done. His savings attempt cost 4 times the professional price. His family's health was potentially compromised forever. Asbestos exposure can cause cancer decades later. The guilt of exposing his family was crushing. His cheap decision created lifelong health anxiety. Asbestos removal requires licensing for critical reasons. His DIY attempt was illegal in most jurisdictions. He faced potential fines for improper handling. The exposure will worry his family for life. His false economy created a health crisis. Professional remediation protects families from exposure. His savings attempt may have long-term deadly consequences. 39. A woman decided to save money by piercing her own ears at home. Professional piercing cost $40 at a reputable shop. She bought a piercing gun online for $15. The gun wasn't sterile or medical grade. She attempted to pierce her ears in her bathroom. The unsterile equipment caused immediate infection. Both ears became severely infected within days. The infection spread and required hospitalization. IV antibiotics were needed to fight the infection. Her hospital stay cost over $8,000. The ear infection damaged her cartilage permanently. She needed corrective surgery costing $3,000. Her ears were permanently deformed from the infection. She could never wear normal earrings again. Her total cost exceeded $11,000 for the DIY piercing. Professional piercing would have been sterile and safe. Her $25 savings cost her hundreds of times that. The infection was excruciatingly painful for weeks. She missed work during the infection and hospitalization. Her lost wages added another $2,000 to costs. Her ears looked visibly damaged forever. The permanent deformity affected her confidence. Professional piercers use sterile, single-use needles. Her reusable gun was a bacterial disaster. Body piercing isn't a place to cut corners. Her cheap piercing became her most expensive beauty decision. The ear damage was a permanent reminder. Friends were shocked by her piercing disaster. Her false economy destroyed her ears permanently. 40. A man tried to save money by using a friend's prescription glasses instead of getting his own. An eye exam and glasses would cost $300. His friend's prescription seemed close enough to his. He wore the wrong prescription for 6 months. His eyes began hurting frequently. He developed constant headaches. His vision actually worsened from wearing wrong lenses. He finally went to an eye doctor. The doctor said the wrong prescription had strained his eyes. He now needed a stronger prescription than before. His glasses cost $400 for the new, stronger prescription. He also needed vision therapy costing $100 and $200. His total cost was $1,600 to fix the damage. The original $300 would have prevented all problems. His free borrowed glasses cost him $300 extra. His vision was permanently damaged by the strain. He would need stronger prescriptions forever. Eye strain from wrong glasses causes lasting damage. Optometrists prescribe specific lenses for good reason. His cheap alternative destroyed his eyesight. The headaches had affected his work performance. His quality of life was reduced for 6 months. The vision therapy took months to complete. His eyes never fully recovered their original strength. Prescription glasses aren't interchangeable between people. His borrowed glasses were the worst vision decision. The permanent vision damage reminded him daily of his false economy. 41. A family decided to save money by driving an old, unreliable car instead of buying newer. A reliable used car would cost $10,000. Their 20-year-old car was free since they owned it. The old car broke down constantly. Each repair cost between $500 and $1,000. Over 2 years, repairs totaled $8,000. The car broke down during a family emergency. They missed saying goodbye to their dying grandmother. The emotional cost was immeasurable. The car was towed multiple times, costing $600 total. They were late to work repeatedly from breakdowns. One family member was fired for repeated tardiness. Lost income from the firing was $30,000. The old car finally died completely. They had to buy a car anyway at $12,000. Their total cost for the old car exceeded $50,000. The $10,000 reliable car would have saved them $40,000. Their false economy cost them emotionally and financially. The missed goodbye haunted them forever. The car became a symbol of their poor decision. Reliable transportation is crucial for life. Their cheap car choice had devastating consequences. The emotional damage couldn't be measured in dollars. Their family regretted the decision deeply. The old car's savings destroyed their finances. Transportation reliability is worth the investment. Their story warned others about false car economy. 42. A woman decided to save money by ordering prescription medication from an overseas website. Her prescription cost $80 per month in the US. The foreign website charged $20 for the same medication. She ordered 3 months' worth for $60. The medication arrived but looked slightly different. She took it for 2 weeks with no effect. Her condition worsened without proper medication. She ended up in the hospital from her untreated condition. Hospital treatment cost $12,000. The foreign pills were tested and found to be fake. They contained no active ingredients at all. She had to restart her real medication. Her condition had progressed from lack of treatment. She now needed additional medications costing $200 monthly. Her health was permanently worsened. Her total cost exceeded $15,000 for the fake medication. The real medication would have cost $240 for 3 months. Her $180 savings cost her over 80 times that amount. Counterfeit medication is a serious global problem. Her health suffered irreparable damage. Prescription medication requires legitimate sources. Her cheap pills nearly killed her. The condition that worsened couldn't be fully reversed. Her doctor was horrified by her decision. Legal prescriptions ensure quality and safety. Her false economy destroyed her health. The fake medication warning on her medical chart remained forever. 43. A man decided to save money by not getting renter's insurance. Renter's insurance cost $15 per month. He figured nothing would happen to his apartment. His building caught fire from a neighbor's accident. His apartment was completely destroyed. All his belongings worth $25,000 were lost. The fire wasn't his fault, but he had no coverage. He had to replace everything out of pocket. Temporary housing cost $2,000 per month. He needed 3 months to find a new place. His total losses exceeded $31,000. The renter's insurance would have cost $180 per year. His attempt to save $15 monthly cost him everything he owned. Friends who had renter's insurance were fully compensated. He watched them recover while he struggled. His $180 annual savings cost him over 170 times that. Starting over financially was devastating. He couldn't afford to replace most items. His quality of life decreased dramatically. The emotional toll of losing everything was crushing. Renter's insurance is incredibly cheap for the protection. His false economy destroyed his entire life's possessions. He had to borrow money just to survive. His financial recovery took years. The fire became his most expensive savings decision. His story convinced friends to buy renter's insurance. The cheap decision cost him nearly everything. Insurance exists to prevent exactly this situation. 44. A woman decided to save money by buying cheap hiking boots for a mountain trek. Quality hiking boots cost $200. She bought discount boots for $40 instead. The boots looked fine in the store. She wore them on a challenging mountain hike. The boots fell apart on the trail. The soles separated from the boots completely. She was stranded miles from the trailhead. She tried walking in the broken boots. She slipped and fell, breaking her ankle. Mountain rescue had to evacuate her. The helicopter rescue cost $15,000. Her ankle required surgery, costing $8,000. Physical therapy was $3,000 over 6 months. She missed 2 months of work. Lost wages totaled $10,000. Her total cost exceeded $36,000 for the cheap boots. Quality boots would have lasted years safely. Her $160 savings cost her over 200 times that. The broken ankle never healed completely. She had chronic pain and limited mobility. Her hiking hobby was ended by the injury. The cheap boots nearly cost her life on the mountain. Quality hiking gear is safety equipment, not just clothing. Her false economy destroyed her ankle and finances. The rescue became a cautionary tale for hikers. Outdoor retailers used her story as a warning. Her permanent limp reminded her daily. The $40 boots were the most expensive shoes imaginable. Her cheap purchase cost her mobility in tens of thousands. 45. And finally, a man decided to save money by doing his own tattoo removal at home. Professional laser removal cost $2,000 for his large tattoo. He bought a tattoo removal cream online for $50. The cream claimed to fade tattoos naturally. He applied it religiously for 3 months. Instead of fading, the tattoo area became severely scarred. The cream contained caustic chemicals that burned his skin. His skin developed permanent keloid scarring. The scarring was worse than the original tattoo. He needed plastic surgery to repair the damage. The surgery cost $8,000 and wasn't covered by insurance. The scarring couldn't be completely removed. His skin was permanently disfigured. The tattoo was still visible under the scars. He now had both a tattoo and horrible scars. He eventually got professional laser removal anyway. That cost $2,500 since the area was now scarred. His total cost exceeded $2,500 for tattoo removal. The professional removal initially would have been $2,000. His $1,950 savings attempt cost him over 5 times more. The scarring was permanent and visible. His confidence was destroyed by the disfigurement. The cream was a scam targeting desperate people. Dermatologists strongly warn against removal creams. His skin damage was irreversible. The permanent scarring affected every aspect of his life. Professional laser removal is the only safe method. His cheap cream destroyed his skin permanently. The tattoo that bothered him was now combined with ugly scars. His false economy created a worse problem than he started with, proving that trying to save small amounts of money often costs exponentially more, demonstrating that professional services exist because expertise prevents disasters, and showing that throughout history, being cheap in the wrong places destroys more wealth than it ever saves. These money-saving disasters prove that extreme frugality often costs far more than reasonable spending would have. The clear pattern across every story is that people tried to save amounts under $500 and ended up paying thousands or tens of thousands instead. The obvious lesson is that professional services, quality products, and proper insurance exist for crucial financial reasons worth paying for. Subscribe if these expensive penny-pinching disasters made you reconsider where you try to save money. And remember that sometimes paying more initially saves everything in the long run.